Now it's time for Chief Johnny to introduce the Chair of Honor.
And the introduction will be very, very brief because he's a Marine and he served aboard the San Francisco, as I previously said, in Pearl Harbor and also in Guadalcanal. And then he went on to other battles. So I'll let him explain those two to you. As he walks up, I'll give you a little bit of goodie. Admiral Halsey took command of the war. And when he did, he appointed Admiral Callahan to be an admiral aboard our ship for this particular battle. That was just a short few weeks. Admiral Halsey was famous for one comment, and that was, he will give half of the Pacific Ocean to Japan. They get the bottom half, the top half is mine.
My wife and I, not long ago, had an opportunity. You like to see the carrier. Joe Jean and I had a day cruise on the USS Reagan, and that was a great experience. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gathered here today to commemorate the sailors and Marines on the USS San Francisco who gave their lives in the naval battle of Guadalcanal on the November 12th and 13th. The Frisco was in the Pacific from the sneak attack on December 7th in Pearl Harbor to the last battle of Okinawa. In early October 1941, I became a member of the Marine Detachment on the heavy cruiser, which was then in Pearl Harbor. Marines were placed on battleships, aircraft carriers, and cruisers for both internal and external security. Their general quarters stations were usually anti-aircraft guns, and they also served as the captain's orderlies. We were fortunate on the San Francisco to serve when Daniel Callahan was the commanding officer and Captain Paul Henderson was the commanding officer of the Marine Detachment. Both were true leaders who cared about their crew and their well-being. On December 7th, I was called to the quarters of Captain Henderson. He told me he wanted to take a message from the ship to the Pearl Harbor Marine Barracks. I don't know why he chose me. Maybe he thought I was the fastest runner, or the smallest target, or the most expendable as I just come ashore. This would be the first and only order I would question. I simply looked at the captain and said, "Sir, how far do you think I'll get?" They were shooting at anything that moved. They were even shooting down American planes as they were trying to land on Ford Island. He looked at me for a few seconds. He said, "You're probably right. I'll get a message delivered another way." In a couple of days, I would learn what this message was about. Captain Henderson, and if that name sounds familiar, Henderson Field was named after his brother. Captain Henderson came into the Marine quarters. He dogged down the hatches, told us to put on our greens and full packs, and be sure to carry as much ammunition as you could. He said also to take your girlfriend's picture with you and write your mother her last letter, because he didn't think we'd come back. What he'd done, he'd gone to the Navy Chief of Staff and the Fleet Marine Officer with a plan to fly all the Marine detachments in Pearl Harbor on the ships to Wake Island. we would be going to aid the greatly outnumbered Marines and civilian workers who were on wake. The San Francisco Marines detachment was to be the first to be flown to Wake Island. During the night of the surface battles of engagement, November 12th and 13th, as indicated previously, another 100 Navy personnel and 7 Marines would be killed. 112 sailors and 17 Marines would be wounded. Everyone on the navigation bridge, including Admiral Callahan and Captain Cason Young, perished. I was blown from the navigation bridge below to the next bridge below by a 14-inch shell from a Japanese submarine. After a 30-day leave, I was assigned to the Marine Corps Reput Depot in San Diego as a gunnery instruction. However, I quickly learned that the Marine Corps is an equal opportunity employer. If you tire of cruising with the Navy, the Marines will be happy to set you on a sunny tropical island. 4 months later, I found myself again at Guadalcanal, this time as a member of the 1st Marine Division, preparing to land at the island of Peleliu. The commander of the 1st Division predicted that the island would be secured in 4 days. The battle raged for 2 months. The Marine Corps on Peleliu lost so many men that they brought in the Army 81st Division. Both divisions would suffer 50% casualties, totaling 6,800 deaths. The Japanese lost over 12,000 men. This was the highest casualty rate for U.S. troops in any battle in the Pacific War. Now, one of the main reasons I came here today was to be reunited with a fellow USS Marine, Cliff Everett. Cliff, would you stand up and be recognized? I wish to thank those who continue to sponsor this memorial commemoration each year. I want to thank you all for attending. God bless you, and God bless America.
Well, we do have some important people here.